Welcome to Bunny Trails, a whimsical adventure of idioms and other turns of phrase. I'm Dan Pugh. Each week, we take an idiom or other turn of phrase and try to tell the story from its entry into the English language to how it's used today. We have a mini episode for you today while Shauna is out, and I thought I would treat you with something that we did for our wonderful word nerd friends Avon and Mark over at the Endless Knot podcast. We do want to give a special shout out to our patrons for making Bunny Trails possible. You can join Pat Rowe and Mary Halsig Lopez and many more on our Patreon for free. And if you are financially able to support the show, we have some great perks too. You can join us at patreon.com/bunnytrailspod. This episode we did for Avon and Mark. This is just a short thing that we did for their 100th episode. And we did just two quick idioms in there. We talk a little bit about the history of the word ice. And then we talk about the phrase, don't break the ice, or breaking the ice, as in, well, you'll see in the episode. Breaking the ice, and then also on thin ice. We recorded this originally October 3rd, 2021. And with that, here is Shauna.
Hello, word nerds. I'm Shauna Harrison.
And I'm Dan Pugh.
And we're the hosts of Bunny Trails, a word history podcast.
It's a whimsical adventure of idioms and other turns of phrase.
Every week, we take an idiom or other turn of phrase and try to tell the story from its entry into the English language to how it's used today.
To help our friends Avon and Mark celebrate 100 episodes, we want to bring you a little history on the word ice and some phrases that contain it. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, ice is, quote, frozen water, water made solid by cooling to a low temperature, either naturally by weather or climate, or artificially as by refrigeration, end quote. Ice comes to Old English from Germanic. As an aside, I find it interesting the Middle English version of icicle is spelled I-S-Y-K-L-E. The I-S is from the Proto-Germanic for ice, while the Y-K-L-E is from the Proto-Germanic for something like a compact mass of ice. So the word icicle today might be described as an icy ice clump.
For the phrase, to break the ice, according to the Cambridge Dictionary means, quote, to make people who have not met before feel more relaxed with each other, end quote. It joined the lexicon in the 1500s and seems to come from Erasmus, who defined it in Latin, scindere glacium, as meaning to open the way and be the first to carry out a task. Erasmus attributes the phrase to Italian humanist Francesco Filofo, whose work was posthumously published in the late 1400s and early 1500s. There isn't much evidence to show where Francesco would have pulled it from, though we know some places were breaking ice on small waterways to facilitate passage in the late 1300s, so it could be from a literal usage.
Another phrase using ice is on thin ice, which, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, means, quote, in a precarious or risky situation, end quote. The literal usage of ice being thin has been around since at least the 1600s, but the figurative didn't seem to arise until the mid-1800s, like this example from Ralph Waldo Emerson in his essay Prudence, dated 1841. Quote, iron cannot rust, nor beer sour, nor timber rot, nor calicos go out of fashion, nor money stocks depreciate in the few swift moments in which the Yankee suffers any one of them to remain in his possession. In skating over thin ice, our safety is in our speed, end quote. Emerson seems to get some credit for originating the phrase on thin ice as a figurative, and we can't find any evidence that would disprove that. Regardless of its origins, Ralph Waldo Emerson definitely deserves credit for popularizing the phrase.
If you want to hear more of us, you can find Bunny Trails, a word history podcast on Pandora, Audible, Ghana, Spotify, Good Pods, Shuffle, pretty much anywhere podcasts live. Or find us at our forever home, bunnytrailspod.com.
Thanks again for joining us, everyone. We'll talk to you again next week. Until then, remember, words belong to their users.